The beautiful people. The beautiful people. Guys, it's a sad day today.
Why?
It's the last day of the season.
Oh, come on.
The Chargers season's been over for a long time.
I was just going to say, we've been limping here for a while. This is like, this is the way it was, Mike. I felt like the Chargers were in that marathon. No, you know what? The NFL to me is more like a sprint than a marathon, right? Where it's like the fast person out of the gate for that first like 10 meters of the 100 meter. And the Chargers like stumbled. And then they got back on track and were there. And then they fell and like ate shit against the Chiefs. And they got up and they limped the rest of the way. And we're just like, the whole stadium's just like, come on, guys. Come on, wrap it up. Get to the finish line. That's what happened to us. We had to watch them bleeding to the end of the finish line.
They had to finish the race like Tony Tucker after that rolled ankle incident.
Oh wow.
I don't know why. Why do I show up here? You're always bringing up old, painful shit.
Show it to us. Do we have the video? Do we have the video in here?
We better not have the video.
We're not assholes, Mike. That would be a dick move to put that up there. Of our friend Tony Tucker eating shit and have one of the worst days of his life.
It was actually a great day with a terrible ending. It was the last shot of the day, and I high ankle sprain, shin, ankle.
Yeah, that's basically the Charger season right there. But yeah, we're here to celebrate the last day of the season, talking about all things football here. If you guys are in some Week 18 fantasy championships, if you guys are just tracking your team's playoff chances or draft order hopes, because that could be changed a lot today. There's a lot going on. Just let us know in the chat. We're here to answer and talk about anything, including Harrison's Panthers. Harrison's here. Hello, Harrison. Final show of the year.
Panthers fan, let's all just throw a drink in his face right now. Ready? Everybody. Here you go. I don't want to ruin I ain't going to ruin my computer David Tepper joke.
It's called these two.
Mike, do you have the Swift?
I would like to hear in the chat, if anybody's there, what would Puka Nacua need to do to overtake CJ Stroud for Rookie of the Year? Because I kind of started a conversation with these guys this morning about it. Like, I went and looked at it. If Puka had like a 250-yard game today, you don't think that would get it done? At least a co-Rookie of the Year?
Well, here's the thing. Like last week, or 2 weeks ago, I was on the Puka Nacua Rookie of the Year train. But what CJ Stroud's done the last 2 weeks kind of puts it to bed. And it reminds me a lot of when RG3 won it over Andrew Luck, because that was like a super tough choice to make for the Rookie of the Year that year. And they literally just picked the guy that was contributing most towards a playoff berth, which I don't think the Colts made the playoffs that year.
I think the Colts did make the playoffs. Didn't they win 10 games his rookie year?
I'm not 100% sure.
I think they started off kind of poorly. They were like 1-4 and then rattled off like 9 comeback wins or something. We have to look that up. But I thought Andrew Luck made the playoffs this rookie year. Maybe that was year 2. He had that crazy run.
Anyways, my second example after that was going to be the Justin Herbert, Justin Jefferson situation, and they went the quarterback over the receiver also. It's starting to look like it's going to be CJ Stroud, even though Puka had a potentially record-breaking year. I don't even know what he needs for the records anymore. I lost track of it. We're great for Puka Nacua.
It's not that much.
No, he's at like 14. He's at like 1450. So he needs like 90 yards or something.
I just don't know how much he's going to play.
Yeah, I don't know how much he's going to play either, but Carson Wentz out there throwing YOLO balls. Why not?
Who knows? Okay, so he needs he only needs 30 yards to break the yardage record.
Oh, he's playing. McVay's getting him that.
Yeah, and then the receptions. Let me see. Where's the receptions? There they are. The receptions. He needs 3 more. So Puka Nacua is going to break the record still. I'm back in. Puka Nacua for Rookie of the Year.
But that's what I'm saying. Why couldn't you do a co-Rookie of the Year? Because what CJ Stroud is impressive, but he didn't break any records.
Not a single one.
If Puka breaks a bunch of records, that's why I said something crazy. Like if he goes way over the records and he gets like a 200, 250 yard receiving game with a 10 or 11 catches and another touchdown, and all of a sudden he's like destroyed all the rookie receiving records. Why couldn't we see a Roddy? Come on, let's Rookie of the Year both of them.
We can see dual. Why didn't they do it the Justin Jefferson Herbert year? I still don't know. Damon's saying that he's rooting for the Titans and the Fins here. I'm assuming Steelers fan. If the Titans or Dolphins win today, I believe the Steelers clinch a playoff berth. So Steelers fans out there, root for the Titans, root for the Fins. The Fins and Titans, I think, are both underdogs today. Trevor Lawrence was officially made active. I am rooting for the Bills and Jaguars because I'm trying to catch Tony in this Pick'ems challenge in a miraculous comeback attempt.
Well, I picked the Bills.
What about the Jaguars-Titans game?
I picked the Titans.
See, I got the Jags.
How did you come back?
Duval.
Just battling for second place or what?
Joe, I looked at I don't think you've updated your Splash account, but I was already like 5 or 6 games ahead of you. I was 4 games ahead of 5 games.
I have gone undefeated like in my pick'ems like the last 3 or 4 weeks.
And that wasn't even enough to catch up.
But I already got Pittsburgh over you yesterday, Mike, and then I think we both picked the Texans. So I got another game.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's over. It's been wrapped up for like
You still took the Ravens yesterday, Mike? Wow.
I mean, we're acting like they weren't right there and they had a chance to win the game. They freaking had the ball down 3 and blew it.
You know who had a chance to win the game yesterday? Indianapolis Colts.
I wish my dumbass would have paid attention to the weather forecast also because I have a very good underdog ticket in. 4 of the 5 hit. The 5th, Justin Tucker field goal attempts.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gone field goal attempts just because it was either going to be Josh Johnson or Huntley playing.
Well, my mindset was that is going to force them to kick more field goals instead of touchdowns.
But then you have to believe that Huntley's actually going to drive the ball. Like everything.
Well, here's the thing: is they got into range multiple times, but because of the weather, they elected not to take like 55, 60-yard field goals, which they normally, I think, would attempt. Normally.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. This is a cornered animal game for Mike Tomlin. I'm always going to take him in those situations.
I just hope that they don't make the playoffs because they're just going to get stomped out in the first round.
Yeah, I don't really want to see them either. Like, I think it's less interesting to watch them. I do root for the Steelers, but I don't really want to see them in the playoffs.
We need Buffalo and Miami in. Damon is saying 300 yards for Puka. Still ain't going to do it.
Yeah, I get it. I understand what he's saying. He's saying it like it's a QB award. Like we want to prop up the QBs every chance we get, build up their resumes as much as we can. We kind of skimmed over the congratulations on the 200K. Like it's a big milestone, Mike. Way to go. Congratulations.
On our way to 300, boys. We're on our way to 300.
800. That's the wild thing to me is like, had you in. So, like, perspective is important in life, young people. 3 days ago, he passed 200K, right? If in the 3-day span 2 years ago, you would have picked up 876 followers, you would have been like, holy shit, like 876. But now that you're working with bigger numbers, you're like, it's a drop in the bucket. Don't live life like a crazy millionaire. You pick up 876 followers in 3 days. That's nuts.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty awesome. And my wife told me I should keep this counter on for some of the days, just as like a little perspective. Like,
look at that. Just us talking about it, it went up 1. Yeah. There it is.
And you keep talking about it, it's about to go back 1.
Well, that's what people do when they troll. When I I don't know if I told you guys when I hit 100K, like the video showed like the confetti going off and me being happy and celebrating and everything. But like right after I hit it, like everyone that was in the chat, because that's back when TikTok Live was actually fun. Everyone in the chat started unfollowing me, so it actually went back below to 100K and like dipped down to like 10 followers below, and everyone was just trolling me. Like, haha, we're unfollowing you.
That's what happens when you have a bunch of Raiders fans in there.
I know, right?
They ruin everything.
They got nothing else to cheer about or be happy about, so they just troll and watch you suffer. Laugh at your pain. T. Higgins is a Panther. He has proof. I think T. Higgins is inactive today. So do you guys think T. Higgins has played his last game as a Bengal?
Tony has called for every wide receiver to go to the Panthers next year. So if T. Higgins goes, it's all right because Tony's called for Higgins, Ayuk. I don't know who else.
Nico
AJ
Collins
getting traded over there.
Yep.
They need one, and they got the money to spend.
Exactly.
Davante Adams will be over there. Brock Purdy's going to be over there. Everybody's going over.
Oh, you saw that video too, Joe?
Just wide receivers, Joe. The rest of it is like I don't know what they're doing, but I do know that David Tepper is going to be making it rain more than just whatever.
You guys know what tomorrow is?
More than a little precipitation.
I know we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but you know what tomorrow is?
Natty?
Black Friday or Black Monday in the NFL.
Yeah. I honestly think it's going to be like, dark Sunday night, whatever it is, before we get to Monday. Like, I think there's a couple of guys that aren't even going to make it on the team plane.
I went through a lot yesterday, and I have 7 for sure, and I have up to 11 that could be opening jobs tomorrow.
Total or like added on to the already that are open?
There's already 3, right? Uh-huh. And then I have at least 5 more that I could see going, and then plus 3 that I could also that's not included. Like my 3 that I'm on the fence about. The 3 that I'm on the fence about is Todd Bowles, Matt Eberflus, because that one goes back and forth. And then I have a sneaky suspicion that Mike McCarthy will be out as the Dallas Cowboy coach this year. But I think he's going to walk away for health reasons.
See, the Dallas one is at least a week away.
Yeah. But I'm still including them in the off-season moves of coaching. Yeah.
I hope you realize what Damien's realizing here, and I realize this too, that Mikes are taking over all the coaching jobs. It's going to be Mike in every single team as the head coach any day now. Mike McDaniel, Mike Tomlin, Mike McCarthy, Mike Vrabel.
Mike Nolan's going to come back from the UFL.
Steeler fans are starting to turn on Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin is one of the best coaches in NFL history. For the 3rd straight year, the Steelers have negative point differentials and this year have 10 plus wins with 3 quarterbacks that only threw a combined 14 touchdowns, Tony? 14 touchdowns?
To me, that's more impressive than even like just coaching a good team to an AFC title game or whatever.
So I like the Mike Tomlin situation to me, it's not simple, but it's like, bro, just go get somebody from the Shanahan McVay tree to run the offense. Like, get somebody who is exciting and then go out there and get yourself a legit starting quarterback in the NFL. Like, it doesn't even have to be Kirk Cousins to the Steelers. I would have them as finishing as the number 1 seed in our preseason predictions, because it's not an issue of like really needing a monster. You don't need to have a top 5 QB for the Steelers to be victorious.
And Kirk Cousins seems like a personality fit too.
The internet's calling for Russell Wilson to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
That'll work. I'm for it. Like, I think they could definitely win with that. I don't know if that I would go to that tree to make that happen. I'd probably be looking for like somebody he's had success with in the past. I don't know. Maybe the Seahawks move on from Pete Carroll and Shane Waldron needs a job, or the Bucks. Dave Canales isn't with the Bucks, and the Steelers bring him and Russell Wilson, and like that's been something that's worked. So there's there's situations where you could pair Russell Wilson with the Steelers and it could be a good, successful offense. Better than it's been at any point with Canada and fill in the blank quarterback. I did want to say one thing about the coaching thing. Like, Saints lose, how does Dennis Allen keep his job? If, like Joe said, Todd Bowles, if the Bucs lose to the Panthers this week and you miss out on the playoffs in that situation, I don't know how he keeps his job either. Arthur Smith, like, how does that work where you have 4 consecutive years of 7-9 or 7-10 records or whatever he's been? Like, you don't improve win totals and you're drafting offensive players that I think have underperformed their actual potential. Like another landing spot for Ben Johnson.
I think Mike Vrabel wants out of Tennessee. I think Bill Belichick wants out of New England also.
Yeah.
It's messy. It's messy, but like Damon's saying here, mics are going to look out for each other. We're going to get more mics in there. Next mic that we got circled is, I'm starting to feel like Mike McDaniel might have been a plant because Mike McDonald is just a defensive version of him for the Ravens. And they just changed his name to McDonald instead of McDaniel. They think that we're not going to notice that they're planting these coaches.
So here's who I have, and you guys just listed them. So we have the 3. So I have Dennis Allen, 15 and 18, depending on what happens today in his time. Arthur Smith, Mike Vrabel, Ron Rivera. They're saying that he's probably going to retire, but he should be fired anyways, right? Bill Belichick, and then the 3 that I told you about: Eberflus, McCarthy, and Todd Bowles.
You can't fire me. I'm retiring.
Yeah, you can't. I quit.
Oh,
and then the news came out today. I don't know, because you guys are big Jim Harbaugh people. That is the number 1 coach on the Raiders list right now.
Well, guess what? News also came out that the number 1 coach on the Chargers list is Jim Harbaugh.
And the Raiders have told all their coaches, Antonio Pierce included, that they could seek employment and the Raiders will not hold them back.
Yeah, and I saw a tweet saying that the entire league is pointing or hinting that the Chargers already have basically scored Jim Harbaugh.
Well, then I hope they get fined. Because everybody knows the Rooney Rule's in place and no coach will be hired, or no coach should be hired, especially Tuesday afternoon. You have to interview 2 people outside your organization. You got to interview a female and some other stuff before it even happens.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I know. It's not like it's happened before, but
Harbaugh Herbert for president 2024. Here we go.
But now they're saying Harbaugh is a package deal, Mike.
If this motherfucker goes to the Raiders, I literally will not know what to do with myself.
I would be so devastated. If he leaves Michigan, if he leaves my childhood college football team for the Raiders, I would lose my mind.
The NFL Twitter world is blowing up right now, just in the last hour with Jim Harbaugh to the Raiders stuff, and it's saying that he's a package deal with J.J. McCarthy. But if you put that out there before the draft, you don't think some team is going to be like, "Hey, JJ, thank you,"
or even just say to the Raiders, "We're going to draft him if you don't trade for our pick right now."
You know what I mean? Like, why would you put anything out there like that?
I think it's more likely if he's going for his own players, it's going to be guys that are drafted in the late 1st to 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th rounds.
I honestly, I love J.J. McCarthy, and yes, I'm a Michigan fan, but I think he should stay in college football for 1 more year.
Is he declared?
No, I haven't heard anything either way, but Mike, you're probably too young for this, but I remember when Mark Sanchez left after his junior year to go to the NFL, and everybody was saying Pete Carroll or whatever had maybe a little selfish to think that Mark shouldn't jump to the NFL, but he shouldn't have. He shouldn't have jumped. He wasn't ready. Another year, getting extra starts. Look at what happens to somebody like Michael Penix once you really have just mastered the college football game. Michael Penix is more ready than I think any of these quarterbacks to come in next year and have a really good, productive rookie season in the NFL. Like it would be.
And I don't think you have to jump to the NFL as fast as you did back then. Like Mark Sanchez, I don't know his financial situation or whatever, but a lot of kids back then left college early for what, Tony? For this.
Yeah.
Now you don't have to. Now you're getting paid. I mean, they just showed who is it? Caleb Williams living in a penthouse and all like compared to what Reggie Bush got in trouble for and how much he's making down there in USC. Like, and then what did Matt Rule say? A quarterback on the portal costs $1.5 to $2 million. So they're making money in college. They've always have, but just not like crazy money like this.
Yeah,
it's legal now. Good for them. Congratulations to your money.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. To me, it's more like you got to think bigger picture. And I just think if your goal is to play in the NFL, like stay another year in college football, rack up the reps and everything that you can get, because that's going to help you be more successful at the next level.
Yeah, and you're sitting in a spot now that's going to be if Harbaugh leaves or stays, it's going to be a high ticket spot for a coach to come. Any kind of coaches, offensive staff, everything to help you out in getting closer to the NFL dream.
Well, I hope they just give the job to Sherrone Moore or Minter, defensive coordinator for Michigan. Give it to one of them, and
keep the culture going.
Yeah, just keep it in place, keep it rolling.
Well, I think Harbaugh has to leave because I think the NCAA is after him. It's for some dumb reason. I think they want to make him, what is it called, the poster kid or the one that they go after for the sign stealing bullcrap.
Did you guys see the poll on that?
Huh?
Some Michigan fan that has like a lot of connections got word out and asked like over 1,000 college football coaches, players, just random people that they have connections to or could get someone to reach out to and ask. And the results came back that like 98% of them said that they steal signs.
Yes. Why wouldn't they?
So it's like a situation like if you ain't stealing signs, you ain't being competitive enough, but also you could get suspended for it.
What do you think they're doing in the NFL? Why do you think Belichick won Super Bowls?
They don't use fucking signs in the NFL. They don't even use signs.
So I think that part of like Joel Klatt made a good point, was like, yes, everybody does it, but what happened with Michigan, it is a little more like crazy, obvious, blatant. It's sort of like when it's like, yeah, the Patriots, teams try to figure things out, but nobody ever has cameras during like the game pointed directly at the sidelines of the other team with like lip reading interpreters standing by trying to like full on, James Bond espionage, steal shit from the other teams. Like there's levels of it. I get that like Michigan probably did a couple of things, but then you also have to like get it, interpret it, and implement it and make it happen. Like it's not like this year Michigan didn't struggle with anybody. Like none of this like sign stealing shit, like even if you can get it, it's not making that big of a difference in the games and the outcomes and whatever it is. Like Ohio State was like, this is why they're beat. No, Michigan's beating you because they're better. They're better coached and they have a better football team. That's why they're beating you. Not because they may have like taken a sign or two.
Or all of them. It doesn't even matter regardless. It reminds me of high school football. My junior year, I wasn't a starter. I was a freaking loser. I was a bench player. But I played both ways. I was a slot receiver and I was a slot corner. So I played both ways. But when the starting offense would come in and practice, the other corner or the other receivers were all the other defensive players also. So when the scout defense came on, I was the starting corner for the scout defense that also knew the entire offensive playbook. So of course I'd fucking cheat to try and make myself look better. I knew all the plays. I knew all the formations. That was one thing I was good at football, was the brain side of it. But our coach, because they kept getting mad that I kept intercepting the screen passes that I knew were coming, the coach eventually got mad and told the offense, like, these plays are designed to beat a team that knows exactly what we're about to run. So if you guys can't beat them, I'm not going to say anything to them. I'm going to tell them to keep blowing up all the plays. So that's what I say to teams that are worried about their signs getting stolen. Design plays that are supposed to win against players that know it's coming.
So, Mike, you played what position again?
Corner.
Left out.
You did what again?
Left bench. if you got a joke, it's probably not funny. We could just skip it.
Oh, it's funny because you said it multiple times and then you clip it up.
Did you catch it, Tony?
I didn't catch what he's about to use against you, but I will say this: like, I imagine you being the guy that runs out to get the kicking tee after the ball's kicked off. Like,
Yeah,
that's,
something like that.
that's the most action you got was
And
that kid that like sprints out, gets the tee, and comes back.
And I would be proud. I would be proud to be the guy that goes and gets the kicking tee. That shit would be awesome.
I suffered
yeah,
a
water
terrible
boy.
concussion, and I was like, screw this. I'm just going to keep playing hockey.
Well, they eventually got me. Like one of the star receivers on our team, when I went to go and pick off one of those screens, he let me go and made me think that he wasn't going to block me, and then hit me from behind, like just absolutely obliterated me from behind and blocked me in the back.
Fuck that.
Said, if you're going to cheat, I'm going to cheat. Little motherfucker. So you're going to cheat, I'm going to cheat. But yeah, Joe, finish the fucking joke already.
I just did. I just said, you just told us in a whole story about you playing high school football that you went both ways and then got hit from behind.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't get that. I didn't see that.
It was the opposite. I only went both ways because I wasn't good enough to go one way.
I just still don't think he gets the joke.
And
Okay.
Tony is using a cup that's not his, and it's live on the air. We're live on YouTube, and your wife is going to yell at you for using that cup, Tony.
Bolt up.
Her name is on the bottom of the cup, Tony.
Oh, it is.
Like she wrote her name on there, like, do not use this cup. This is my cup.
Clearly.
Hey, when you say I do, what's mine is yours, what's yours is mine. Okay? I use all of her damn money too. You think she's gonna complain about that? She don't give a shit about a cup.
If she wants you to use a different cup, buy you a different fucking cup then.
It's the only clean one in the house.
Yeah, there's no cup with my name on it.
Let's
Okay.
talk about football again. What else we got here?
Yeah,
Today?
that's what I was gonna say.
You
Because
wanna
go
talk
ahead,
about
Mike.
the AFC or the NFC East. Sorry. What do you guys think is going to happen today? You think Dallas has any chance of dropping the division by losing to Washington? Y'all just don't want to say anything good about the Cowboys, do you? That's what it is. That's what the silence is.
I don't think Washington has a chance. I went to that game earlier and I was trying to pick it and I was like, is there any chance? And no, I don't think there is. Like that defense, like they gutted that defense. They played a little tougher than we thought, but no, I don't see it.
So that's what I was going to say. I thought Joe wanted to jump in first. That's why I was quiet. But this week, on one of the shows I was watching, they played a clip of Micah Parsons saying, hey, nothing really matters. We just got to be focused on Washington moving forward. We got to go. And then what I didn't realize while they were playing the clip was that was the clip from last year, week 18. We have to be fully focused and just go ahead. Doesn't matter. This is our next opponent. We got to play them. And it was last year's clip where he was saying the same exact things about beating Washington. And then Sam Howell came in and dusted him in week 18. And that's why I was so excited about the chances for Howell coming into this year. So it's like, could they lose? Yes, because it's the Cowboys. And this is what they do. Like if we go back and really look at the Cowboys like losses this year, they're just in really bad spots of a team that is not focused on like what's right in front of them. And then all of a sudden they get shocked. So while I think it would be difficult for them to really F this game up, like I don't think it's impossible because the Cowboys have not shown that they are like the 49ers or the Ravens, or really even some of these like better coach teams like the Chiefs that are struggling. Like the if the Cowboys were in a situation like Chiefs were a couple weeks ago against the Bengals or last week or whenever that game was, last week, I think the Cowboys lose that game. I don't think they get the 6 field goals necessary to win that game when the offense is struggling or whatever it is. They would just lose and then be in a situation where, division might still be up in the air for this week.
Yeah, and then if the Eagles win, they would take the division right there. So it will be interesting. See what happens. It is in Washington. The game is in Washington. I guess the Eagles game is also in New York. Imagine they both lose. That would be even crazier.
Well, that's why I picked the Lions to win today, because I think Dan Campbell is pissed. They play the early window game, and I think he's going to go out there and say, let's give ourselves a shot. Like, let's just go out there and put 40 points on the Vikings today.
Yeah,
And
if the Lions win and both teams lose, Lions go to 2.
Mike, the thing I really want to talk about, and I'd be interested if Damian or Harrison are in the chat, was the question that you posed about Justin Fields and what this game means for him. Because Mike, you said that the thing on the internet, like kind of the stance on the internet, is that they need to move on because of the rookie contract. And you said they need to just focus on selecting the better QB. And I think that the better QB is the one that gives them the most cap flexibility. Because we don't really know if Fields or Caleb Williams is going to be in that top 5 level. But I think what they do is sort of the off-schedule playmaking is their strength for both of them. So why wouldn't you go with the one that's going to allow you to be cheaper for longer? Because if Justin Fields finishes this year strong, and then comes out next year and is good, now all of a sudden you're looking at having to pay him $50 million a year, and you're not going to be able to help out Montez Sweat and the other guys. But if Caleb Williams comes out and you get him and he has an 8 or 9 win rookie season and you're competing all the way up to the end, now all of a sudden in year 2, you're going out there and you're looking like, hey, let's go get a DB, get some secondary help and help Eberflus move the defense even more in a positive direction.
Yeah, and I've kind of come to I agree with what you're saying, Tony, but I've kind of come to the conclusion that Caleb Williams is the better option at quarterback and for the cap space scenario, just because I think right now Justin Fields' potential is still there, but we're seeing some of his best ball here, and we're seeing kind of like what his high potential can lead to. I still think Caleb Williams has potential even higher than that in his career. And how many times are the Bears going to get a chance to select first overall without having to trade up for it? It's not going to be very often in franchise history. It's probably not going to happen if things go well with whichever quarterback they choose for a long time going forward. And I think also, like, trading out of the first overall pick is tempting because of all that they can get. They obviously just saw what they could get last year doing the same shit. But it's just an opportunity that they cannot pass up on.
Yeah, the Bears got away with it last year because last year everybody gave them a pass by saying, "Oh, CJ Stroud and Bryce Young aren't generational talents. They're good quarterbacks, going to be great quarterbacks, but they're not going to be franchise changers." Remember that's what everybody was saying. Now I think the story is a little bit different on some of it. But now with Caleb Williams, everybody's like, this is a once-in-a-lifetime generational guy who's going to come in here and be your franchise quarterback for the next 10 years. He got the Trevor Lawrence treatment. He's got the Andrew Luck treatment, all this stuff. So it's harder for you to pass on it and write them and be like, we're going to pass on, and we're going to pass again on a number 1 pick. And if he doesn't, and if say next year Justin Fields doesn't pan out, now everybody in that building would have to be gone, right? You would have to be like, all right, you guys took your shot, you're gone. Well, this guy's bringing in a rookie saves your job for the next couple of years, and then pan that out. And I mean, as much as you don't want, I like Justin Fields. You guys know how much I like Justin Fields. But if I'm sitting in the Bears and I have this, and I'm the Bears GM, and I have this decision to make, I'm going with the younger guy. I have to. I feel that I have to. And I have to move on because if I'm wrong, I'd rather be wrong with the young guy than with the older guy that we've seen in the building. And it's just the way that I would go. But I would see. Well, I don't know exactly what we could get for Justin Fields, but they're going to get a good package for him too. You're just going to go to you make your team younger and better.
The fact that there's a debate kind of answers the question, because if Justin Fields was the franchise quarterback at this point, with this many years he's already been there, it'd already be undeniable.
Yes, I think they would be in a situation where they've come out and said Eberflus is going to be the coach next year. They have not come out and said Justin Fields will be the quarterback. Right. And the weird thing to me when I look at it is Eberflus kind of got the seal of approval from the general manager, ownership group, or whatever, because the defense turned it around after they got Montez Sweat. So you look at it and then you're like, but wait, didn't they blow 3 fourth quarter 14-point leads this year? Like the Bears should be in the playoffs right now if it wasn't for defensive collapses. But yet, like, Justin Fields isn't getting the same treatment. He's not getting the, hey, well, you've actually had 14-point leads in the fourth quarter, and these are games that have been taken away from you having an even more impressive resume this year. So I think they look at it and go, oh, well, all we really need to do is we need to back the coach. We need to back the culture that's put in place and reboot with the quarterback. And because we have all these picks.
And Ryan Poles has done a good job with that team. Like, I feel like they already have a team there that would be good for a rookie quarterback to come in. They have DJ Moore, obviously. They picked up Montez Sweat. The defense is up and coming. And I think he's going to keep adding to it, even after they get Caleb Williams or whoever it is that they end up deciding to go with. So
and as of right now, they have the first and 10th pick.
Just don't let me go into next season as high on the Bears, guys. Like, just be like, Mike, remember last year, you fucking dumbass? Don't do this again.
I will not be with you. So yes, go the other way because I had the Bears finishing second in the division, right behind the Lions, and I'm fine with that. I stand by it. Like I said, those 3 fourth quarter losses could easily have the Bears right there behind the Lions and even in the division race coming into the final week of the season. But I think that if you can get a quarterback and then you can get a young edge rusher at 10, like that's where it's at. If you can get Verse or whatever from Florida State, or like maybe the top corner starts to emerge as somebody that you can bring in that spot. Like, I think that their tackle situation is pretty good. So I don't think that that's a area they need to address. In the second round, they can come back and you'll be able to find a good wide receiver. I think this is a very good wide receiver class that's incoming. We'll probably see 6 or 7 of those guys in the first round, but you'll be able to find a very good wide receiver in the second round of this draft to come in and be there with Mooney and DJ Moore and have that guy as a third option that could be a stud in the offense. So Caleb will come into a situation where he's got running backs, a good tight end in Cole Kmet, and potentially 3 like really good, great, depending on how you feel about DJ Moore, wide receivers. Like, you could have 3 really good to great wide receivers.
Yeah, it could be a good situation. They have the most cap to spend too, on top of it all, out of all teams.
The Bears again.
Yeah. Yep.
I was going to tell you that the draft is shaping up well for the Chargers at number 6. You might as well just sit there and you could take another wide receiver.
Okay.
I'm hoping the news breaks Max Duggan is the starter within the next, and I'm a real Chargers fan, so I picked the Chargers this week. Other people on this show picked the Chiefs. So I think that you kind of got to we got to look at what's best. So even though I picked him, Max Duggan. Let's start Max Duggan. Let's see what he's got. We need to look at the future backups here.
You know what's crazy about that, Tony, is that I have been that my whole life. Pick the Chargers every week, never going to break. And Brandon Staley and this staff and this team this year broke me out of that 26-year cycle. And you're going to sit here and call me out on it, even though you know damn well that last season and even the year before that, you picked against the fucking Chargers before. You know it.
But Mike, it's a new year, new me, my friend. Like, I'm ride or die. So in 2024, only one of us is going against our team. That's all I got to say.
We need him.
That's all we got to say about that.
That's the campaign slogan. We need him. We need Jim Harbaugh Herbert presidential election 2024.
I like that. Let's put that on a t-shirt. I'll put that right over here.
We need Jim.
Justin Fields today needs 1,500 yards, and he'll become the first quarterback in Bears history to throw for 4,000 yards.
He's saying he's 1,500.
So if he can get that today,
that'll probably save his job.
So here's the thing. I think if they draft Caleb Williams, he will become the franchise leader in touchdown passes and passing yards in his rookie season as the quarterback.
I can see that. And then I can make the trolley video about how he's the greatest Bears quarterback ever, and he just fucking started.
The thing is it won't be that far off. Like the debate would probably be between him and Jay Cutler and maybe Justin Fields. Like they just not had good quarterback play.
All I know, Fields, is if you get those 1,500 yards today, it's going to be really good for my fantasy blowout that's already happened.
Imagine that, oh, holy crap.
Right now, I'm up by 90 points, and if he goes for 1,500 yards, I think I got the win sealed up.
That I will, Mike, if they're like, at halftime, Justin Fields has 749 passing yards. He is on pace for 1,499 yards in this game. I would be, or 1,498 yards. I'll stop watching football forever if that's the case.
What. That's like Jake having Max Crosby with 20 sacks in 4 games in his Madden franchise.
Yeah.
Yes.
Time to take it off rookie, buddy.
That's what I always ask him. I'm like, hey, Jake, what setting do you have that on? It's on All Pro. I go, okay.
He'll learn as he gets older, Joe, that it's not fun to just kick the shit out of his opponent every single week after week. What I used to do when I was his age in Madden is I wouldn't just do that. I would create an entire team of 99 overall players and then run it on rookie mode and score 150 points on them.
Well, yeah, that's what he does. He turns the salary cap off. He does all that crap.
There it is. Right
yeah,
there.
that to me does not seem.
But then as I got older, I want to try and make it as hard as possible to win, so that way it felt accomplishing when I got.
And then he traded everybody from the Niners to different teams, so the Niners would suck. So like Brock, and then he was happy that he saw a post yesterday that Brock Purdy was on the Panthers, because on his franchise mode, Brock Purdy's on the Panthers.
Oh wow, that works out.
How you gonna do like that?
Well, Bryce Young goes to the Rams on that post. I saw that post too, Joe.
Harrison, I like this comment here about the new GM. I think Adam Peters would be a great GM for.
From the Niners.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck. That's all I gotta say, Harrison. Good luck, man.
Yeah, I do not think at all that Adam Peters would go to the Panthers.
Josh McDaniels rolled in through the gate at New England this morning. So New England welcomed Josh McDaniels back. So it's going to be great to see Matt Patricia, Josh McDaniels, and Bill Belichick in powder blue or whatever color you guys are next year.
The Panthers or the Chargers?
What color are you, Mike? The Chargers?
They're both kind of.
I think what he's saying is Belichick's going to be the next head coach, and he's bringing Josh McDaniels with him, like
to Carolina, right?
I think what is that? That's sky blue. I think that I think Josh McDaniels has a chance to get an interview for if the Patriots move on. I think that they would interview Josh McDaniels.
I'm saying they're all going to LA.
I know what you're saying, and I'm saying no thank you, but I do think that McDaniels. Here's the thing, Joe, you're right. If Belichick comes here, Josh McDaniels is probably going to be the offensive coordinator for the Chargers next year. Like,
can we talk about this for just a second? Just a second. Let's talk about this just for 1 second. I don't know if it's going to happen, but if it does happen, would that not be fucking insane for the AFC West to have Andy Reid, Sean Payton, Jim Harbaugh, and Bill Belichick?
I don't think we've ever seen that level of coaches all in one division ever in the history of football.
Like that would be you would watch every single one. I mean, we watch it already, but
we're getting back to we did this bullshit. Come on, guys. We did this bullshit 2 years ago when it was like, have we ever seen this many good quarterbacks? And Derek Carr's the worst one, or Russell Wilson's the worst one of this division. We did that, and then the division was shit. So yes, I believe that coaching would make a bigger impact on it, but like it wouldn't be that much different because the Chiefs still have Patrick Mahomes, and they're like a good wide receiver away from being the Chiefs that we knew before. Because the defense isn't going anywhere. So Spagnuolo, our best hope as non-Chiefs fans in this division would be that Spagnuolo is hired away. That he's foolish enough to take the Panthers job. Go. Bye.
Adios. Well, I was about to
Take
say,
whatever-
Tony, if that happened and you loaded up that much, one or two of those coaches getting exposed.
Who?
It's probably going to be Sean Payton and Bill Belichick.
Well, because he's saying Belichick would be for us. Why would I want to live in
No.
that?
He'd be with the Raiders. Belichick to the Raiders. Harbaugh to the Chargers.
There
Harbaugh's
is-
the
Yeah,
only one that needs
I saw that rumor yesterday too that if Belichick was fired or let go or whatever, then Mark Davis would want to meet with him. And I was like, how the are you going to do that? Have you just all the shit you just went through with Josh McDaniels? You're going to bring in Bill Belichick? Like, I don't think.
I would.
Mark Davis wants to piss Raider fans off.
Well, it's because Tom Brady is basically running it now. So that's the reason Jim Harbaugh is getting the rumors now is because Don Yee was hired as Jim Harbaugh's agent, who's the same agent as Tom Brady, who is now giving advice to Mark Davis.
Yeah, Don Yee's also the same agent as Jimmy Garoppolo. How's that working out for him?
And he's the same agent as Sean Payton. That's the crazy thing. Like if you, I don't why like you just because of who your client list is, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, here's what I'm hearing about Don Yee. He's a great businessman. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing about Don Yee having a ton of cash and being a really smart businessman.
I'm Mike's agent, and look what I got him.
We're all playing chess, and Don Yee's out here playing fucking checkers. No, I need to fire you, Joe, and hire Yee.
You need to. I don't know what's holding you back.
Maybe we should just let Yee coach the Chargers.
Shit,
we just let the agents become coaches now. Just skip the fucking process of hiring the coach.
Well, the Lakers did that. They hired Kobe's agent to be the general manager of Rob Pelinka. That was Kobe's agent. Now he's the general manager of the Lakers. Well, LeBron is really the general manager of the Lakers.
And he's with Kobe's ex, right?
I'm not getting into that.
Oh, here we go. Conspiracies now. Conspiracies.
Pelinka is everywhere. Anyways, let me ask you this. Let's take the big head coach's name out of here. Because last night, who are the two head coaches or two young coaches that you think would be a good for any franchise? Because I have two names at the top of my head where last night kind of sealed one of them, and the other one I'm kind of more leaning towards I think he'd be a good head coach.
My risky play would be Bobby Slowick, and my safe play would be Eric Bieniemy.
So you're saying
that first play last night of that Texans game, Mike, made me go, Bobby Slowick could be a head coach somewhere because that's fucking aggressive. That's how you come out in a game that you need to win, that you need to set an example. If they missed it and he doesn't throw that 75-yard touchdown, it's second down and 10, whatever.
And did you see that graphic they put up? He's the final coach that was there in Washington out of that staff that has not become a successful head coach. They have 100% hit rate out of like 7 other coaches. He is the final one not to be hired as a head coach yet.
Yeah, last night I was like that play to come out the gate and just throw a 75-yard bomb and say, we're fucking here, guys. Let's play. Let's get this going.
Yeah, definitely got to love that aggression. So a few weeks, I don't know, probably right after Thanksgiving, I think Mike and David in our little Chargers chat that one of the sneaky coaching like things that I would like to see was Slowick. And then if Robert Saleh got fired, you could bring in, because they have the 49ers connections, and then Adam Peters. And if you could get that as your trifecta, now it looks like Saleh is going to stay on. But if you could bring in Adam Peters and Bobby Slowick, I think that's a fantastic pairing right there. Like somebody who has a good draft history and then somebody who's showing that they can, really do a lot with what we perceive as fans as a little, right? Like everybody looked at the Texans roster and we were like, Nico Collins really just had himself a Mike Williams year where he showed potential, was pretty injured, and then right before a contract year, he has his best year of his NFL career, and then he gets paid. And that's what's happened with Nico. But like, we look at it in hindsight and we go, oh, CJ Stroud had, they drafted Tank Dell and they brought in Bobby Trees and all these players. But like, nobody was saying that in the preseason. Now everybody's going like, he's got all these weapons. I think it's probably more a combination of quarterback combined with offensive scheme that have elevated everybody in this thing. And don't get me wrong, I love Nico Collins and I hope he gets huge money this offseason and continues to ball out. But I don't know.
Dalton Schultz was their biggest free agency ad. So you do that and the rookie draft class, and you go from second overall pick to potentially winning your division. I mean, that's something right there.
It's another sign of like how awesome like having the right head coach can be for you.
Yeah.
You know, like, and especially when you take care of your side of the football. So he comes in, the defense starts playing better. Everybody's stepping up and living up to where they were either drafted or the potential of what we thought. He's getting the most out of them. He's maximizing their effort. That's what we loved about Belichick for so long, was like he maximized every person's ability by saying, these are your strengths and we are going to use them to the fullest. So that's the great thing that we love about that. I want to throw out one other coach. Again, we're going to go back to a Michigan connection, but he's with the other Harbaugh with the Ravens, Mike McDonald. That would be my other like sneaky head coach hire, because if we're getting to a situation where we're thinking there could be 9 openings, it's hard for me to find 9 head coaches right now.
Yeah, we need to fill at least like 3 of those with Mikes anyways.
None of you guys got to the guy that I was thinking of, and maybe I'm just overhyping this guy myself, and maybe I've just been reading more into him. But I'm starting to buy more into Frank Smith of the Miami Dolphins, the offensive coordinator. Just going back and like looking at his history, and especially like old tight ends coach, offensive coordinator for the Dolphins this year. Then he was with the Chargers. He was under John Gruden. He was under Sean Payton. So he's had some history of being under good coaches, and it just I don't know, for some reason I have that not as much as crazy as Dan Campbell, but when Dan Campbell can succeed, it makes me feel like a lot more other people can.
I do think Frank Smith can get a job. Like he would be on that list, but that's sort of like kind of the middle of the list of where my brain is at, right? Like I think Dan Quinn is going to be up for a job, and I think that's kind of the reason why Mike McCarthy might be on the hot seat if he doesn't get to the NFC Championship game this year. But I think no matter what, Quinn is going to end up somewhere next year, whether it's in Dallas or somewhere else. So then you start looking at like Harbaugh needs to come to the NFL. Is Belichick going to coach somewhere else? Is Vrabel going to coach somewhere else? But then you look at guys that are really available: Ben Johnson, Bobby Slowick with 1 year as the head guy. Like nobody's really talking about like Lou Anarumo had a down year, but I think a lot of it had to do with just injuries and circumstance. But he's been a fantastic coach for the Bengals and that defense for a long time. So like, but we're not talking about him. Spagnuolo has head coaching experience. The Chiefs are doing amazing things with all of these young players out there. Why isn't he being talked about more as like a coach? Eric Bieniemy struggles down the stretch. I was just going to say Brian Flores too. Like those two, Bieniemy and Flores, like there's struggling going on with their side of the football down the stretch, right? Like we just saw what Jordan Love did to the Vikings, but like he's been fantastic with a defense that outside of maybe Joe, like nobody really thought the Vikings were going to do much this year, and their defense has been outstanding. So I think that like having a perspective of what they did for the whole year and not remembering how the season's finished. You know, the screen game for Washington this year was fantastic. You know, like at certain points, Washington's offense wasn't the issue, but now that it has been an issue since Howell's kind of flopped, now Bieniemy's off everybody's radar. It's like, no, what was he doing for the first 3 months of the season? It looked fantastic. And look how the Chiefs are struggling without him being in the building. Like that has some correlation. Like he should be back up there. To me, it's going to be really interesting. And there's going to be at least 1 or 2 guys where we're like, I had no idea. It's going to be the Brandon Staley type hire. Like,
dude, I like Raheem Morris too. I think Raheem Morris did a good job.
And someone that I think got the shit end of the opportunity stick that I would like to see get another chance. Maybe not this year, but next year, Steve Wilkes. I'd like to see him get another shot.
I'm kind of cool on. I've relaxed on Steve Wilkes.
I think Steve Wilkes is too old school for today's generation, but I do think
to be the 49ers defensive coordinator.
I think in the right circumstance, like he would be a really good head coach, but I think it has to be more of a veteran team. And I don't know that situation's out there. Like, I think it would be really tough to give him a job. Like, I know he was at the Panthers and he would never go back there, but a team like the Panthers, where it's like you have a lot of young players and we need to find ways to
You think he'll be like Mike Singletary and moon them in the locker room and be like, can't win with them, can't do it.
Yeah. Yes, I want winners.
They should have got Mike Singletary in the
XFL out there still, Mike, as a head coach, and you guys should know about Kellen Moore.
Well, that'd be a perfect candidate for the Raiders right there.
It's like I don't know if the Chargers offense lived up to my expectations this year, and I know you guys are Charger fans.
Okay, hold on a second. Kellen Moore has not gotten a great shot because this Chargers offense, if you look at it for the first 3 weeks, was actually fantastic. And they survived a little bit after the Corey Linsley injury and a little bit after Mike Williams going down in week 3. But the first 3 weeks, like, things were pretty good in the offense. And then it was just shit injury after shit injury. Herbert breaks his finger. Like, I do think Kellen Moore is kind of getting like forgotten and thrown away because the Chargers season has ended up in shit. But like, it's the same story every year for the Chargers. Injuries that bring them down. So I still think that, to me, Kellen Moore is an outside chance to go Falcons or Panthers.
The biggest thing that's been the real failure, Joe, is just they cannot find a rushing attack. And that's been something that's happened over the last 3 offensive coordinators. They cannot find a steady rushing attack, no matter what they do, what scheme changes they make, anything like that. The thing that turns me off on Kellen Moore is that the report coming out of LA is that they offered him the interim job and he turned it down because he didn't want to look bad. It's like, you don't want to fight or go out there and try and make it work with these guys. Why would I bring you in and hire you to take over my guys?
Because you're taking a shitty team and putting that on your record too. Fuck that.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of with that.
If you find some success with that team, even just winning a couple games or even going 500, you're going to look even better. But also, just mentality-wise, when it comes to leading a football team, to just say, nah, I don't want it. I don't want to step up and be the leader this team needs right now.
Okay,
that to me shows a trait that I wouldn't want as my head coach.
But here's the thing. He wasn't in a situation. So if they would have done it earlier in the season, right? If they would have moved on from Staley and said, hey, your runway is the final 7-8 games of the season. They said, no, here's your runway. It's the final 4 games or whatever of the season. And you have to find a way to spend most of the week coaching up Easton Stick to try and win games. So you can't even have like a legit like head coach where you can kind of float around and work on game plans with defense and special teams or whatever else, because he's got to spend all of his time trying to figure out how to put gadget plays in there to get, option plays in the playbook for Easton Stick so that the offense can move the football. Like, it was not a good situation to take over in that spot, especially when your defensive head coach is leaving and now you be turning over the defense to Ansley and Kellen Moore would become the head coach. Like, to me, that's just a massively lose situation for Kellen Moore. I get why he didn't do it.
He's probably like, why would I want to coach these losers?
That's exactly what he was thinking. Yeah, that's exactly what he was thinking. Why would I want to coach this team without Justin Herbert? It's not even worth my time.
But the best interim coaches are usually guys that are position coaches. It's not coordinator positions, because you have your plate is already so full with what you have to do. And then all of a sudden on the fly, you have to do that. Like, go back and look at the guys that have had success, like Dan Campbell in Miami the first time. I think he took over for like Tony Sperano or somebody, or Joe Philbin or whoever it was in Miami when he got the boot. And then Antonio Pierce, Rich Bisaccia for the Raiders. Like, these guys that Tabor for the Panthers got to win, like, yes, Steve Wilkes, I think, was the DC for the Panthers. But like, to me, it's more like the guys that are rah-rah have a better chance than the guys that are actually like super heavily in charge of X's and O's.
I guess I just don't have the understanding that these guys have at that level, that it is still business at the end of the day. That would irk me. If I was on the team, I would be like, fuck that guy immediately if he turned down the job because we suck too bad. Anyways, I think the games are actually about to start.
Oh shit, it's 10 o'clock.
Yeah. So
there's 7 afternoon games today. Like this is the most afternoon game. This is what I've been at. Like I want to see how this weekend goes because I've been asking for the NFL to put most of the games in the afternoon. So let's see how this works out.
Well, they don't do that for us, Joe, because the East Coast, it's like that's all dinner time.
Yeah, but in the East Coast, they'll put Washington versus freaking Philadelphia, but they won't put like the Raiders or the Chargers going to the West or East Coast. They won't put them in the afternoon. They'll put them at the 10 o'clock slot.
Well, West Coast games, we have to start them at 1.
But I'm saying like when the Raiders or Chargers or a West Coast team goes to the East Coast, they always go, okay, we're starting them at 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Pacific time. They don't, but then they'll give Washington and Philadelphia 4 o'clock start over there. Like, what the hell is going on?
We should just start like a organization or a campaign, Joe, that we're going to go against the NFL playing West Coast teams in the mornings.
Well, look what the UFL did. They just said, hey, fuck the West Coast. So
they just moved all the teams east.
Yeah. We'll fix this right here. We'll fix this problem.
Figure it out. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
South and in the East.
Harrison said we're losers for living on the West Coast. But do you guys think about? I don't know. Maybe I overthink it sometimes. But sometimes when I see a game start at 8 o'clock our time, I'm like, shit.
So I love living on the West Coast because Sunday Night Football ends and it's not 1 a.m.
Yeah.
For me.
I literally after Monday Night Football every Monday night I go and watch another Monday night show for like 3 more hours before I go to bed.
When I was a kid, Tuesdays were the worst for me because I lived in Michigan, so Monday Night Football would be on, and I would be going to bed at like 12:30, 1 o'clock on Monday night. Tuesdays would be me just dragging ass with like 5.5 hours of sleep.
Getting tired is only a state of mind, Tony, and if you just tell yourself you're not tired, then you're not tired.
I'll tell you this. My state of mind was I was fucking tired. And I did not want to be doing whatever it was that my teacher was like, hey, Tony, get your head off the desk. And I was like, teach, this ain't going to work for me today. Just send me to the office.
Watch the Lions get blown out last night on Monday Night Football.
Again.
You want me to do homework?
First period nap period.
I fell asleep during one of the greatest Packers Monday Night Football games ever. They were losing to the Vikings, and they came back in overtime, and there's a ball that Favre throws, and it lands on Antonio Freeman's back, and he rolls over and picks it up and runs in for a game-winning touchdown. And I showed up, and I was all pissed, and everybody was like, what are you mad? And I was like, fucking Packers lost to the Vikings last night, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, no, they won. And I'm like, don't mess with me. But this is pre-internet, guys. I had to wait till I got home to turn on ESPN to find out that Green Bay had actually won.
That sounds awful.
And last I don't know if you guys remember this. A couple of years ago, the Raiders, it was still in Oakland. I think it was Raiders and Chargers where they had to kick the game back to like 11 o'clock at night if something happened. And it was like, I remember watching the game and it was like after midnight and I was tired. And I'm a big Raider fan. And I was just like, screw this. You guys don't remember that? You probably don't remember it because the Chargers got their ass kicked that game. But
y'all don't know nothing about waking up at 2 a.m. because of a time difference to watch all of the football games every Sunday and then working a 24-hour shift on Monday.
That's why you go both ways, Mike.
Exactly.
And then you take it in the back.
Exactly. My roommates hated me because I'd be up at 2 a.m. watching the games on the TV. I had fucking 8 roommates. So it was kind of annoying. I'm yelling at the TV because the Chargers are 5-12 again. Shocker.
Both ways, takes it in the back, and 8 roommates.
Bolt up, takes it in the back, 8 roommates. All dudes. All right, we'll see you guys next week. We still gonna do this for the playoffs? We should still do this for the playoffs.
I love hanging out and talking football.
We'll do it Saturday and Sunday. I don't give a damn.
There you go. Last week.
As long as Harrison's here, I'm here.
We'll see you guys next year on the wake up call. We're gonna call it like the playoff push Mike in. I can't think of another P. I tried. I'll see you guys. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications.